Hi friends, I hope that everybody's doing well. My name is Gabriella for anybody new tuning in. Before we get started, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. I'm seeing a lot of center focus about like you and taking care of yourself and doing things that you need. This feels like it's going above and beyond routine self-care. There may be things in the home that you're taking care of. There could also be more of a focus on your responsibility, but less so from a place of a duty, and maybe even like more of a philosophical approach. Seems like spiritual self-care. Like things that nourish you beyond just your physical form. Okay, so we're starting off with the sun here. Things that you're coming to know, things that you're coming to understand. For some of you, there are also questions that you've been having, maybe that you've been looking for. This can also be questions that you've had for a long time. This can be some deep stuff that you're thinking about. To have the Sun and the Seven of Pentacles, and also the High Priestess, there can be things that are coming through that you have been channeling. There can also be some stuff that is on the way, that you know is on the way. Interesting. Maybe something that you're waiting for right now. It looks like you wanted something, or you were looking for something, and for some of you this may not be a physical manifestation. For others of you definitely can be, but this can be like deep answers that you've been looking to have, questions that you've been looking to have answered, things that concern like even things of an esoteric nature that you're looking for. You may also get insight in general on things and how they're happening before they're happening too. Because this looks like things that may not have necessarily materialized for you, but I'm seeing there be an awareness like this is going to be happening, or I'm going to get this answer. I'm seeing there be like you knowing what's happening here. And I see the Seven of Pentacles as like being the process of a manifestation where we know something is done, and there's going to be like even a process of something happening. It's like we know that we planted the seeds in the garden, right? And we know that just because we haven't seen the plant pop up, we know that underground something is going on here. And so we're aware that something is in the process of happening, and we may not have seen that materialize yet, but I know that something is going to be happening. And if these are like the answers, I'm also hearing something about like symbolization, something that you're waiting for. I'm also seeing that's going to occur too. For some of you, I just want to say this because it's like coming through strongly. Some of you may be questioning things when it comes to like the veil, the other side, things about death, things about incarnation, reincarnation. You're learning about things and you're making progress. And it even seems like something that you wish or something that you hope for is going to be answered for you. Something that you wanted to know. It looks to me also like you're collecting something. With the High Priestess here, this can be anything of... The way that I'm seeing the High Priestess is being like 12th house information or anything related to Pluto, where it may be less commonly known information, occult information. I think we can leave it at that. I think that kind of covers the umbrella. Spiritual things. And it looks like there's a collection that you are creating. It even reminds me of like receiving this information in whatever way this is. You may be like researching something, you may be looking it up, it may be things that are coming to you, coming through you even. And it looks like you are like gathering it and kind of laying it out or laying it down, putting it somewhere. There's something about a culmination even. I'm also seeing you work with spirit here too, so I don't know how this is that you're connecting with spirit, but I'm definitely getting... We're gonna get into specifics here. I'm seeing somebody with a gifted energy where like you're able to tap into things that are more sentient, spiritual. You may like talk with your guides, have conversations with your guides, know how your guides communicate. And when I say talk, I don't mean like necessarily talking like there's another person in the room. I mean like communicate with your guides in the ways that they do. Our guides all communicate differently with us in the ways that we're receptive to the communication. So it doesn't look the same for each of us. But I'm seeing something specifically here where to have the Hierophant on the bottom of the deck connected with what this is that you're working on, this can be some sort of like philosophy, religion, things that are connected with like what happens to us when we leave our bodies, all of those things. And to also have the High Priestess here, the High Priestess and the Hierophant are mates. They are counterparts in tarot. And so this is about like occult knowledge, spiritual knowledge, astral knowledge, like the other side of the veil, all of that stuff, things that you don't really see necessarily materialize physically here, but you have this knowing, this remembering. It's the stuff that you carry with you. And then the Hierophant is like even a more organized sense of that wisdom and how that's fashioned. And because both of them are here too, you could be pooling information. So it's like this. You're learning about you are learning about like what happens to you, for example, when you leave your body. Maybe you're looking into like Christianity. Maybe you're also looking into Buddhism. Then you're listening to near-death experiences. It's like all of this stuff that you're kind of collecting and bringing together now, and all these different things. There's something that is being like researched, worked on, something collected, something that you are studying here. I'm seeing something that's in the process of happening, and you kind of know the direction. Like, I may not have necessarily known where we were going when we started, but I felt guided to be doing this. And now I feel like I'm starting to see something form. It's like you begin painting a picture and you don't know what it's going to be. And now you're like just starting to make out what this is forming into. Something is becoming more concrete for you even. The irony. I'm looking at the Death card, I'm looking at the Moon. As I said before, things, I see the High Priestess. The High Priestess represents the Moon. I also see the High Priestess represent the 12th house, and then we have Scorpio. This is Pluto. This feels like life-changing information that you're receiving, that you're remembering, recalling. I see you feel very, very strong, a very, very strong pull to be moving in this direction. It feels even like something that just magnetized you. I'm even seeing these 4 pieces that had been separated that are now being brought together. Maybe this was also something that in the past you turned away from too. This could have been something that was overwhelming, but it could have also been because of the perspective that you had in the past too. It could have been something like, I'm actually getting the word terrified, but for example, like, say when you were younger, there was like a lack of a spiritual foundation that you believed in, because that's not to say you weren't raised in like some strict spiritual background, but when it came to like what it was that you were actually putting your faith in, you could have been in a space where it's like, I don't believe that anything happens after we die. I think it's just done after that. So it's like every time you're thinking about death, you're like out there having an existential crisis. Now I'm seeing something has changed because of the access of information that you have. There's something that you know now. There's something that you're connected with that changed the game for you completely. Everything looks different, and I'm seeing you be the high priestess at the core of this. I'm seeing this just be, when it comes to the question of not even who you are, of what you are, because this has changed for you, because there is more of an understanding now of this, that's why everything else can kind of fall into place now, is what I'm seeing. I'm also seeing too that there may have been some very big, I'm hearing anchoring. It may not have felt like that though in the beginning. There may have been some really big experiences that you went through where I'm hearing, okay, I'm hearing skin falling off the bone. It may have felt very much like that, like the shedding felt that intense for you when you were going through it. Like these really big transitionary periods where it feels even like the culmination of all of these towers that you experience, but I'm getting something where, like, because of like the gifts and the power and the awakening needing to be very strong, the catalyst also needed to be very strong. So when you went through these experiences, they would have felt very, I'm hearing vaulting. Vaulting, like shocking. And they also would have given you, helped you with your life purpose too, is what I'm seeing. But there was discipline action that needed to be taken based off of this. There was something constructive even that needed to happen. I'm seeing like discipline and regiment being helpful to you, you using these changes in a constructive way. Because the thing with Scorpio energy, the thing with Pluto is that in its shadow, it can be a very corrupting energy. It's one that is very powerful and it can manipulate. And it also has a large influence on the people that it touches. However, in its light, it is one that can like transform and teach people. It is connected with the collective. And so it can like really shift, I'm hearing shift minds, shift vibrations. And because of like this personal thing that you were moving through, it seems that it like also allowed you to connect with your life purpose, which may also connect with the collective as well, is what this looks like to me. But there's something about like you needing to step up and become like a leader in your own right with the Emperor energy here. It's interesting too, because we have the sun and we also have the moon. We also have Scorpio and Aries here. But yeah, the sun and the moon, it's like the both sides, the yin and the yang. These things that you went through, yeah, I'm seeing this clearly with the Scorpio energy. These things that you went through, it gave you the opportunity to turn into a power that could have been like corrupted, that could have been corruptive, could have been more in a shadow space, like leaning into that, more of a subconscious energy, more of like forcing things and wanting to like mastermind and like puppeteer things even, versus you moving into a space where if you decided you wanted to do something constructive, like, I'm going through all of this, it needs to mean something to me, I'm going to make something of this. But I'm seeing this take like as much discipline as you have to be able to do, and like being consistent and being reliable and like taking this work seriously. I'm seeing that you being able to do this allows you to give meaning to this experience that you're having, and even find the meaning that maybe is even connected with a bigger purpose that you've been seeking. I'm also seeing too that it looks like when you were younger, there was information that you had, but you may have not been ready to connect with it yet. Like, you may have really rejected it because it felt scary. These can even be gifts that you had at a younger age that maybe you backed off from. I'm seeing something about like worrying about information that you know, or something that you're able to do, stuff like that, even tap into certain things. And it could have felt very ungrounding is what I'm getting with the nine of swords here. It may have been something too where it's like if you were just trying to deal with it logically, like rather than like if you didn't have the spiritual background necessary, like information wise, knowledge wise, this could have been something that you felt like trapped by rather than liberated. But it just comes from a space of fear, a space of ignorance, of dark, of shadow, which is the opposite of like consciousness, understanding, knowledge, all of that. It seems too like for some of you as well, you could have from whatever time that you felt touched in a way by like existential concepts, you could have fallen into like having certain mental health symptoms that you could have even gone on a quest to find some sort of like worldly remedy for these things. And through certain knowledges, even like practical knowledge, you could have found things that were helping, but not something that would last when it came to the deeper philosophical and spiritual remedy that was needed, because a spiritual remedy is needed rather than a worldly one. And so I'm seeing like these big shifts that you have gone through, these really big changes that had felt very painful at the time that you went through them, have actually kind of given you the information you need to use your sense of like discipline, because I'm seeing like really strong willpower here with the Sun and the Emperor. It gave you kind of like the food that you needed to digest, and now that you have, there's something constructive that you can do with it. And I'm seeing it also be something that like assuages these feelings that you had been having that felt very, very intense, even because of this like undercurrent and this knowing of questions that you didn't have answered now, but it seems like you are getting answers now. You are connected with something where there's no going back from here, is what it looks like to me. It seems like the knowledge that you have at your disposal now also helps you filter out information too. Like if you start feeling overwhelmed by something, or you're overthinking it, or you start feeling unsettled and there's a lack of peace, there's something here about like filtering the information and even changing the station. This kind of also reminds me of meditating, where when you want to have more control over your mind, where like maybe you have a lot of like compulsive thoughts, stuff like that. When we learn to meditate, when we are exercising in that way, it helps us to gain a sense of control over our minds, where it's going, what it's doing. And the more we practice, the more the better that we get at doing it, at controlling it. You also don't feel so alone anymore. I'm seeing actually spirit help you specifically with the things that bring you a sense of worry. So this looks like you are very deep into your like spiritual discovery, uncovering, understanding, all of that. When you are upon the path and things pop up that bring you a sense of like grief and worry, it looks like spirit helps you find resolution for these things, but you have to be able to pick out what is the, like, out of all of the information, out of all of the like energy that's coming towards you, you have to pick out which frequency spirit is communicating on. And that's why your discernment is so important, especially when it comes to what you're working on, what you're paying attention to, what you're giving your energy to, what you're investing in, essentially. Because I'm also seeing you work on this part of yourself that tends to feel like ungrounded or unsafe, or starting to lack trust in what you're doing, or lacking faith. It's like when you start to falter in some sort of way, or you don't feel like safe, at peace, grounded, all of that stuff anymore, I'm seeing this thing pull you back in, pull you back in, pull you back in. It's like every time you stray, it pulls you back in. It reminds me actually of those herding dogs, that it's like when a little sheep or whatever animal starts like straying from the pack, you have the dog that kind of brings them back in. So there's a lot of that. You may be at a point too where there's something that you're already doing and there's something that you've already established. I'm seeing you look like you are in a well-established place for what it is that you're doing. There's like some area of your life that you feel in a way you kind of have it together. There has been even a spotlight that was shed on some area of your life where there's an absolute, you being in like positive, having a positive feeling that this is what you're supposed to be doing. However, I'm seeing you know that something is happening, even that something is coming, and I'm seeing you be in a space where there's something that, like, you may be overthinking this a lot, you may be feeling all tied up in some way, really getting in your head. Because I'm not seeing it be like something that's going on in the environment. I'm seeing it be coming from you. So I'm not seeing anything like inherently within the environment that would have you be like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do within this situation. And like, this is such a big problem. It's like, I'm not seeing a problem here. I'm seeing like you being really in your head. And the thing with this too is that if you are like moving all into like this area within you energetically, it means that you're not flowing in the other spaces. So it's about like coming back down into your body and grounding yourself. Because it even seems like something that you already got handled, so why are you overthinking this? Because I'm seeing you be already good on this. like, I'm seeing you doing everything that you need to be doing. Everything is exactly as it should be. Like, everything is in right order and all of that. But for some reason, you feel worried. But it seems like you're projecting this onto the space. I will say this, though. It is triggered by something. And that is where we're going now. But you know that something's happening, but it didn't happen yet. So it feels like that part, you know, when we get anxious about something, like you get a text from somebody and they're like, we need to talk. And you know that you're going to be having that talk, but you don't know what it's about, all of that stuff, you know. It's something like this where you know something is going to be happening, but it didn't pop up yet. It may not have materialized yet. But the more that you can control this part of yourself that is like really freaking out because you feel out of control and you want that sense of control, this is about surrendering and letting go and being like, I trust that spirit is guiding me. I trust that my team will let me know what's up when I need to know. I have all of the information that I need to have when I need to have it. When I need the next sign, it is right where I am. All of that stuff. I trust the divine timing. Whatever it is that you tell yourself, whatever mantras you're repeating, affirmations, things like that, that will be helpful. Because I'm not seeing anything more than you can do. Right now, it's just about waiting. But yeah, you may feel the tension of that something is building, something is happening. And it is what I'm seeing. I will say this too, your guides are saying be patient, and they're also saying just keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. You don't need to do anything differently, but they're also saying like don't stop doing what you're doing, because like what you're doing is leading to where this is going, so don't stop. You're meant to keep going. It's like just because you planted the seeds in the ground doesn't mean you don't need to water them anymore. We need to still water them. So keep that in mind. For some of you, there's been an activation connected with your past. This can be your past lives as well. Rememberings that you're having. This looks like something very, very deep that you're tapping into. It's either like your past within this lifetime, or this is past lifetimes that you're tapping into. Information that you're receiving can be coming... I'm hearing in every which way. There may be different ways that that this is being communicated with you. Something about taking whatever it was that you needed to learn. I'm also hearing own, and then like moving forward, because the point isn't to go backwards. It is to just take whatever it is that you need from that and then go. But there may be something that is troubling you at times, knowing that there's a space that you're moving towards. I'm seeing you recognize like worrying about something is not going to like suit you, and so I'm seeing you be able to move away from it and be like, I can either like be getting pounded on, like have the waves crash down on me, or I can like ride the wave. And so I'm seeing you recognize that whatever this was, that's coming from the brain, that's coming from like mentally, the air energy, whatever this was. I'm seeing you move away from it because you recognize it's not even a functional way to be like dealing with this or maneuvering through it. And I'm seeing you get back to work. So something may have paused you because you felt really affected by it in a way that didn't feel necessarily enjoyable. There's something too about not going back to old habits or not going back to old patterns. Yeah, you see what you needed to see and now you can move. I'm seeing the Ace of Swords here, which means having this sense of clarity of like where you can go, but there may be some stuff. Okay, there may be some stuff that you are connected to, like that either you were connected to or that you are still connected to, that is related to the past for you. I'm seeing you be in a space where you know that the past does not have what you need, and that in order for you to like find the fulfillment or fulfill these next steps or fulfill the path, I'm seeing you walk away from the past, out of the past, and towards the Ace of Swords, which is like truth, knowledge, clarity, that epiphany, like really seeing things for what they are, seeing things as they are. But there may have been something that you had a tie to that it was difficult to move. You may have felt like you were leaving something. But it may have just been the way that you were framing it. Also, too, I will say this, if you were connecting with some sort of source that was bringing you that was having you feel like worried, stressed out, like lacking a sense of peace, lacking a sense of empowerment, like something like that, I'm seeing you disconnect from that as well. Even if it's something you're very familiar with. Because you know better, is what I'm hearing. So this can even be like somebody or something that has an influence on you that may be well-meaning. However, you recognize like the energetic impact that this has on me. I don't walk away feeling good about things. This doesn't empower me. It doesn't help me feel like I feel confused when I connect with it. Whatever this is, it's something that you disengage from because you recognize like if something is healthy for me to be connecting with and like it's helping me grow and all of that stuff, that's not to say growth isn't painful, but it's something that like you wouldn't be in this spot if this thing were something that were like helping you to grow and develop. Essentially, it's something that just worries you more, and this can even be a train of thought. But it can be something someone related to the past. For some of you, there are definitely karmic ties to a particular frequency that you know this frequency now. I'm not saying there's nothing more that you need to know about this. You know everything about this. I'm seeing you be the high priestess within this situation. It's like you know all of the sides of it 360 about this whole thing. But you may be in a spot where it's still hard to walk away because I'm seeing there still be a sense of like grief connected with that. Like that thing really isn't for you anymore. It can be a lifestyle too. Or it can be something that you've had for like years or something that you've connected with for a long time that you're like you feel in a way, not to reduce it to this, but the word I'm getting is obsolete, and that's what it would feel like. Sure, there's a more diplomatic way to say that, but that's the word that's coming through. You also know the truth of where you're heading to. This is either, for some of you, this is towards another person. Somebody that you feel you have been guided in more ways than one towards this person, and when you connect with them, you feel like this is the truth, or this is at least the space where you're moving into if you don't know who this person is yet. The lovers, it doesn't have to be a person. It can be a calling. It can be something that you feel very, very attracted to, something that you feel magnetized by. Can be a person, can be a thing, can be a place even. But it's something that you want to connect with at the end of the day, and it's something that you see without a doubt as being part of your path. I'm also seeing too that by you walking away from whatever this is that you needed to walk away from, connected with something you had been familiar with, it helps you also work on and follow through with your boundaries, and to be able to speak out with a sense of honesty, clarity, authenticity, sincerity. I'm seeing the word beloved. And I'm also seeing you gear up for this transition. I'm hearing slide. I'm looking at spirit be connected with this whole process that you're going through right now. So yeah, whatever this is that you're moving towards, it's something that you strongly connect with. So it can be an activity that you feel really drawn towards. It can be something that you are doing that you feel like is connected with your purpose. It can be somebody that you are connecting with. That can be a romantic partnership. That can be a friendship. You can be connecting with soul family, connecting with people here on earth that have come from the same place that you have. The synchronicities that you have followed to get to this place make the whole experience undeniable in every way. I'm getting even like sensations throughout your body physically that you feel. I'm looking at the sun, the moon, Scorpio, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. There may also be like a truth about partnerships in general that you have realized too, and why things in the past went in the ways that they did, and what this has led up to for you. I will say this as well. It is being acknowledged that the moves that you are being guided to make, it takes discipline, it takes willpower, it is not easy. These are things that are going to, like, you're practicing restraint here with certain things and follow through. How much you trust your guidance. There may also be stuff that you're not indulging in because you don't feel like it's in alignment. I'm seeing you let go of something here. Something that you feel has just been weighing you down. I'm hearing the last circle. In order to have this thing that you want, whatever this is that you're holding on to, I want more clarity on whatever this is. Hold on. If there's anything that you are wishing for, that you are hoping for, that's not in alignment with the highest good, especially if it's aimed towards anyone else, or even anything where your heart chakra is closed in some way, It seems like it's connected with partnerships, because I saw the Five of Swords landed on the Lovers, Gemini partnerships. Something has to be let go of in order for you to have something that you want. In order for you to have the stability that you want. Feeling solid. Yeah, maybe something happened that there are still residual feelings that you have about this. You have to move away from it. Also, too, for some of you, there may be something that you've been doing that gives you, I don't want to say a false sense of security, but it's like a superficial sense of security. But I'm seeing there be like a lot of animosity that you're feeling. You know what? This actually reminds me of a reading that I did on Instagram on the channel. If anybody wants to follow me on there, you can. The details are in the description box. It's Gabriella Blue 44. I do readings on there sometimes. So I'm seeing that you may be in a spot where there are certain like responsibilities. There's a role that you have been playing that I'm seeing you enjoy this role, but it also may be something where you've like really attached your identity to playing this role, and you felt like you needed to stick around for something or someone, and you feel salty about it. It's much deeper than that. I'm seeing there be... It's a situation like this. Like, say you're in a partnership and you really resent your partner because you feel like they don't give you the things that you want, and that they took away like a better life, and that they're just like not who you want to be with, and all of this stuff. It's like, rather than recognizing, hey, this isn't what I want, and walking away from it, you decided to stay. This is just an example. And so you're projecting the feelings that you have onto this other person, and thinking that you really feel that way towards this person, when really you feel that way towards yourself, because you aren't advocating for yourself, and you also are not showing up for yourself. You're crossing your boundaries, essentially. So whatever this feeling is that you're having, and I'm seeing it be aimed outwards, I'm seeing you not be in a space where you're like, oh, I'm really feeling that towards me. Whatever this is, or you can feel like somebody wronged you in some way, or somebody played you, or they did this to you, that to you. I'm seeing this be related to your interpersonal relationships. Whatever this feeling is, it is causing a block in the heart chakra. Blocks come from emotional things that block up the flow. And so this needs to be let go of. And this can also be any sort of like elitism, like I'm better than this person, or like because I play this role, like I'm in this spot and this person's in that spot, whatever this is. Or like even judgment, it can be. I see the Five of Swords be any sort of situation where we find ourselves feeling like we're righteous for something and another person isn't, or that we're separating ourselves from being team players with everybody. We're feeling like we're on some different team. There's a lack of assimilation. So that needs to be let go of. Even if you have things that come, even if there's a reason that you feel is very good for sticking in this situation. Even if it does bring you comfort in the 3D, because for some of you there can be like finances, a home, stuff like that. I will say this too, this is something that like you already know what it is. You already recognize this situation. I feel like we tapped into a different energy on this last one, because I'm starting to even see things look differently within what we just did. I'm reading a different energy off of the initial spread, where you're in a situation where you know what you need to do. It's just about actually doing it, but it may be something that you've grown very comfortable and even complacent within a situation, but you know that it's not for you. The way that you'll know that it's not for you, and it doesn't just have to be a relationship, it can be any area of your life. there's a lack of fulfillment, there's a lack of satisfaction, and you have tried everything that you can, and you may be making excuses that look like, oh, well, what will this person do without me? They need me. Stuff like that. Enabling, codependence, stuff like that. But you're not doing it from a space where you have an open heart, and that's how you'll know that it's not in alignment with like your values and your boundaries, because you feel a type of way towards this person or towards this situation because you're not showing up for yourself. Because there's something that you know that you need, that you are... I'm like looking for a particular phrase and it's just not coming to me. But yeah, it's just a lack of showing up for self. Otherwise you wouldn't be feeling like this. Because the only reason that we feel like this towards someone is because, and this can be like jealousy, it can be resentment, animosity. It's because like we see somebody as either having something that we want or like blocking us from something that we want. And so we need to turn the frame inwards. Even if you're moving away from certain things, because they don't give you the sense of peace that you're looking for at the end of the day. And it's about finding that. And I'm also seeing it be something that is available to you. It's just about making a decision that may feel very hard. You may also feel quite comfortable as well, like in a routine of just feeling the type of way that you do towards this person. But it's something that you want to look into. If you are looking at somebody and you are feeling things other than love and like speaking to them from a place other than love, it is going to impact you in so many ways. So many ways. Even health-wise, you may be seeing things manifest, or they will be eventually. Because it's poisonous. So, on that note, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.